Doing a short video. I had OBE last night, and it's so hot and warm, so I have all my curtains pulled down, and I got quite a headache after the OBE. So I decided I always keep track on how they happen, and this is 90% of the time. If an angel grabs me specifically, or an attack, demonic attack, that's when these don't fit in, but otherwise it's 90%. And in my case it's caused by many nights of bad sleep. I don't sleep much. I sleep about 4 hours a night, every night, on a good sleep. So they are partying and arguing outside, and it's hot night, so everybody's out and so on. So that's when I get overtired, and that's when it seems like it. After about, if I slept less than 3 hours a night for a couple of nights, then I usually are in for experience. And I feel a painful jolt in my body. It's like something enters in my stomach or something, and everything goes into cramp for a second, and then the extreme pressure around my head starts, that it really feels like my head is in a grinder. And it's like a roaring jet engines of a fighter jet. And I get caught in a vortex, and there's a lot of pressure, so everything in my body feels like it's pressured. And I learned to relax through that process, but the first times in my childhood it was quite scary. And then suddenly it all goes quiet, and I'm just floating somewhere else. Usually around the universe, I'm looking at the stars and all the beautiful colors in the stars and so on. Last night I went to a place from the past, and I have not been thinking about it, and I didn't even remember it, so this is like the subconscious here. And sometimes I can enter the future as well, but I was I had cooked for my mother a huge, I have this huge iron cast that, not cauldrons, but these huge things where I cook beef stew and so on. And she got angry, and I had delivered it to her, and then I walked away, leaving her with all the food, since it was about 40 meals to put into her huge freezer, so she had a daily of that particular stew, and I got angry and left. But in this dream I was floating above the apartment, and I was angry. I never screamed at her. I just told her no, and then I left her apartment. So it was never drama. She loved drama, and I just left all the time. But I was angry, and suddenly I saw what she experienced. She accused me actually of doing things when I wasn't there, and I denied. And tonight I saw that the huge thing filled with dill meat stew, it was like a psychokinetic thing, that it flew up, and there was stew all over the kitchen, and that it threw up against the wall. And I thought I didn't do that, but I saw it happen, and she was alone in the apartment. So that left a question. So when I woke up, I went into the kitchen, and I have many of these, since I cooked a lot upon open fire, and baked bread and so on in the forest, since I like living it rough. And there was an actual dent. And I remember her, that she tried to call me, and I didn't pick up the phone, and she was leaving messages, and I didn't pick up, and that kind of thing. And she was screaming, and in this time I saw that she was afraid, since the whole casserole thing flew off and into the wall, and it has a dent. So either she threw it, but it's quite strange, since I wasn't there, that I found a dent on it today. And this happened about 10-15 years ago. And so this was just a weird coincidence, and magic creates this. And but what is different with my OBE is that I get every detail etched into my memory. So it comes from the, let's say, subconscious and that, but I can remember everything and replay it. I don't have to write it down. It stays once it enters up. And then I have the aches and pains in body waking up. That's why I'm making the video today. I'm muscles ache and all that. And then, so that is quite a different. In the real tough OBEs, if it's what we call a demonic attack, to have something to call it by, that's when you are ripped out of your body, that's when you can get really hurt. I dislocated one thing once, so I woke up with this pain, and it happened in the hospital. So I was on this machine checking out my heart rate, and there were people in the room, and I was half out of it, and then they wondered how I accidentally dislocated my own shoulder in a hospital bed with people in the room. So the doctors were quite confused, and I was confused and in horrible pain. That hurts. So so when things like that happen, that's when I think that I should maybe practice protection more. But I just accept that it is something to be learned, since Michael helps me out of it and returning, so I don't really do that. But with the astral realm is quite different from what everybody in the New Age thing does with their projection. And I enter through focusing on a fixed point and then relaxing my gaze. And it is like a mild trance state. And I look at my, let's say, on my forehead or my eyes. I focus on that point or sigil in a black mirror. And I just fix my gaze, and I don't move my eyes, and then I relax my eyes and I'm in there. And it happens very quickly once you're used to it. Or the Nokian tablets. I just gaze at them and I enter through them, and then I enter back home from them on the other side. So it is just like going through a gate somehow. And sometimes people say that it is like opening a curtain in a theater. So it is just like that. I think like it is just like my head moves to a different place. So my head is in the astral realm, and my body is completely aware and awake on this realm. And reciting long text and repetition. And I always lose count. That is my trouble. I have to make notes to remember during evocations and so on. Especially when you have to maybe do the same long evocation 7 times, and I lose count there. But that's when I'm in the astral realm. And the same happens if it's a repetitive prayer or mantra. And so on. So you just lose count, and that's a sign that you have already started. So don't try to stress yourself up if you don't reach it. You are there more often during a day that you even notice. And one other thing I like to do, especially at night time, I close my eyes and I just follow one bird. If there are 20 birds, I follow the sound of only one bird. Or something or if I listen to music, I follow the guitar, or I decide to listen to the bass or a flute or whatever. And I don't listen to the other music, I just follow that one particular instrument. And that's quite an interesting experience. So after all these years, anything that is familiar or boring, like sitting waiting in a dentist office like that, I'm usually off somewhere. I gaze, oh, this is boring, and I relax, and I know that it's going to take time, and I'm off somewhere. And I call it drifting away out of boredom. I don't have daydreams, I don't fantasize what I'm doing, I'm just off. And that's where also something might appear in front of you. And I've never had a lucid dream in my whole life. Sounds weird. But I never experienced that, not as far as I know. And then I wanted to show you a trick. I don't have anything better but a toilet roll. This is how I also use. If you put the toilet roll around your ears, eyes, this is but this is like a long roll. This is how I see when I'm in the out-of-body experiences and I get a view. It's like through a tunnel like this. And it gets crystal clear. And I notice one thing, especially when I lose my eyeglasses. If I use this toilet roll here, I got this roll here since I misplaced my... sometimes when I'm typing in the night and I can't find my glasses, I use this toilet roll. That was a secret. So it helps me to see what I'm typing when I don't have my glasses. So you can experiment with this. It's quite fascinating how your eye, even with bad eye, I see from far, but I can't see anything close. But this helps me to get a very clear perception. And this is the best way I can explain, since I'm not an artist, how I get the visions. Is always through a long tunnel, really far away. It feels like there are kilometers, and I get a crystal clear view when something is a message from the angels, what I should do in the Enochian practice, and it comes through like that. And then I had just a sudden flash when I woke up. I must talk about William Blake, so I searched for a video with William Blake. So I guess somebody needs to see what he has painted and what he wrote. And then I've been relaxing here, looking at a nice video from my friend Ken on Cleveland Live Music, so I'm going to link his channel as well. I just like it when it's real old music from back in the day, and just to relax and start the day. And there are some music there that I never heard or seen before, since they are in archives that are very rare clips. So I just love to watch these old radios and whatever interviews. I don't even know if everything has aired, but it is so fun to see them when... in the time when people weren't pretending and fully made up, but just relaxed and blurted out things just like I always do. So hope this might be inspiring, and if you have questions about astral projection, the new way, I have some books about that as well that are highly regarded, at least in Scandinavia, and they held courses with those books, so I can answer from the books how they practice it, but that isn't my own experience. So it's the common method, what incense, what tea, how to relax, breathing techniques, and taping your voice and doing a special path working workout and that kind of thing. So I can answer them, but I can't. It isn't my own experience, since when I tried, my anchor says I'm not going to do this, since I'm not led by anyone, so I just can't do it that way. That's the problem when you don't trust people and you have bad experiences, that you just cut off everything and So not even on those meditative YouTube things or anything works. Nothing. It is just me and a quiet time or music I choose and put on. So that was all for now. Have a magical, magical day.